Hello and welcome to the Database YouTube channel. In this video we will talk about the join operation, an important functionality to connect two tables with each other. But before you watch this video, check out the other videos we have on our free SQL course on this YouTube channel. To watch the other videos you can also go to our website, link in the description. But let's jump in. Okay, so let's take a look into the join in BigQuery/SQL. I will just copy the first part, which is super easy. We had it already. Select star, so I want to have all the columns from this one table, and I want to get the data from the bike share trips table. So I'm doing a select star, and then let's wait until it's there. So yes, so all the columns are there. Just important is here how many rows we have. Why, you will see in a second. So now we want to join data. Join means I have one table, bike share trips, and I want to have a second table, which is somehow correlating with each other and where I put data together from different tables. So the first thing we have to think about is which table I want to join to bike share trips. And one problem, for example, from the bike share trips table is that we have certain information from the stations we do not have in the bike share trips table. I think we have the names of the stations. Yes, we have, but there are other information in other tables from the stations, which would be also in other cases important or interesting for us. Due to that, these we would like to join. So what I need to do now is I just copy that one because it's basically the same. Just do a join, form I can delete. And now here it's the same data set, same project for sure. So BigQuery public data, San Francisco bike share. So we'll just change the last table. It's bike share station info. So bike share station info, yes. And we just need bike share station info. So now BigQuery is still complaining about because it realizes, okay, here the person wants to use a join, but it's not correct so far because there's something missing. On is missing. Why an on? Because you need to think about the bike share trips table, which is for sure separated in different columns and in different rows. And what you want to achieve is that for these certain rows, you are finding the corresponding correct bike share station info entry. How you're doing that, or how you are telling BigQuery, which is the correct one, is by defining keys. Keys are, okay, in bike share trips, I have the value XYZ. So I need to find in the bike share station info the same value XYZ, and then I can join them. And what I need to tell now BigQuery is, okay, what is the column I want, or what are the different columns from both tables I want to join for? So in which column I found XYZ in bike share trips, and in which column I find XYZ in bike share station info. And now I can do, for example, one important thing. In joins always doesn't need to be technically, but I would highly recommending it, is to give an alias. So what I'm doing here is st for trips and ss or ssi, whatever, because then it's way easier to write all the following queries you need to do. So what you do now is as on t dot start station id equals s.station id. So what I'm saying is, okay, please take from the bike share trips table the column start station id, and if that is matching with the station id from the station info table, then please join them together, which means adding all the columns from both tables together. What's happening now, it still says there is something not matching because you want to join an integer data type with a string data type. I will just quickly fixing it. You need to do a cast. What exactly a cast is and how it works, I will describe later. It's just a technical thing here, whatever, not so important, so now it works. As I said, so usually you should always just t.startStationID equals s.stationID. Now we can try to run that. And do you still remember on how many rows we have? Else maybe go 1 or 2 seconds back in the video, because we will see now, this is one of the first impressions we have, and super important when you're doing joins, that we have now less data. Why? I will tell in some seconds. Else we have now informations here. It's a little bit hard to say, but for example, so this whole latitude, longitude, region ID, rental methods, capacity, and so on are all not from the bike share trips table. They are from the bike share station info table. So how we can visualize that a little bit better is by saying, when I just do t.star, I'm just taking all the columns from the bike share trips table, which we want to have now in this case. Then I take s.name as start station name. So I want to have from the station table, I want to have the name column, and I call it in our final table now start station name. And then I want to have s.lat, for example, as start station just quickly let or lat or whatever, or latitude, and s.lon as start station lon. Let's do it like that. So what does that mean is I can easily, when I joined them once and it's working, I can easily say, okay, which columns from both tables I want to have. So I want to have from T, I want to have all the columns, but from S, I just want to have 3 columns. And you can treat them as they would be at the end in one table. So now we have here the start station latitude, we have the start station longitude. They are not available in the bike share trips table, but they are available in the bike share station. So now we know per start station ID, we also know, okay, what is the latitude and longitude? And we also know the start station name. Now you see here start station name _1. Why is that happening? Because we just said in the alias it's start station name. Because we have already a start station name from the T table. So we have from the T table we have a start station name, and we have from S a name. So s.name we have as column, and we say in the final table, please just call it start station name. And what BigQuery is doing then at the end, when it realizes, okay, I have from one table T, I have originally the start station name column, and from S, I have the alias start station name, then please just add a _1. It's a thing for BigQuery, just adding it to the final table. Yes, and then latitude, longitude, as I said. Important here, there could be even more problems with the same column names. I think we will come to it later. Let's see. For sure, you could also join it, not with the start station name, you can also join it with the end station ID. So then all the columns you are getting here, latitude, longitude, what we also saw before, has kiosk and so on, is not joined per or does not show the data of the start station. It shows the data of the end station. Both possible. What you can even do is joining both. So one, join the bike share station info for the start station ID, and one time joining it just here. You can right away start here. I will not do it now. But you can here right away do it. Join bike share station info on end station ID and S station ID. For sure, just need to cast it again as I did. But would be more now maybe a little bit too much. So we keep it simple. So yes, so now we have the join operator, but there are different join operators. We can look into it in one thing. As I said, now there are less rows. What does that mean? We have now, there's also left join. I will just show it. And in some seconds, I will also explain what are the differences here between these different join operators. So now we have again the exact same rows amount as we have when we just do select star or whatever, or just select certain columns from bike share trips. So this table, the file table where we also join the bike share station info, has the same rows amount as the bike share trips table itself. Why? Because when we are doing this, I will also explain it in a schema in some seconds. When we are doing this, we have less data. Why? Because it could be that a bike share trip entry does not have its start station ID. Or it could be as well that there's a start station ID which is not available in the bike share station info. If one of these things are happening, the row gets deleted. So at the end in a join operator, it just shows all the rows of the mixed table at the end, which meets the criteria in both. So there is a start station ID with the value and a station ID from the station info table. In the left join, it says, okay, please take all the information you have in the bike share trips for all the rows and just adding basically from the side, just adding the entries you find in the corresponding entries you find in the bike share station info table. So we will quickly switch to schema and there I can show you. So here you see all the different joins we have. We have the inner join or just the join, what I also did at the beginning. And here you see exactly this. So we are taking the trips table and joining it with the station table, but we're just taking the entries. So the blue one is always the entries we are taking at the end are shown. And we're just taking the values where the trips finding a corresponding station, or vice versa, where station just have the corresponding trips. If one of them does not have a valid I mean, so does not have an ID of a start station which is not in the stations table, then it does not show it. Or the other way around, there is not shown a station if there is no trip basically be started from the station at the end. So that's the inner join. The left join, what we did afterwards is we are taking all the data from the trips table, all rows, all columns, depending on if you want to have all the columns, and just taking the stations informations where the join is successfully, so where you find from the trips table the corresponding stations informations in the stations table. Then you have also the full join, we will also then check in some minutes, which means we are taking from both, so we at least show every entry from the trips and from the station table once. once. Even if for a trip there is no station, even then we are showing the data. Or if there is for one station never started a trip or ended a trip, we also show that data. And we have the right join, which is at least from our side mostly not really nice to use. At the end it's just the opposite of the left join. So we always say the table from the from, in our case the trips table, when you just thinking back what we did some minutes ago in the SQL editor, we say the from is the trips table, which is in this part the left table, and the right table is the one you want to join. When you're doing a right join, it says, okay, we are taking from the join table all the stations and just adding the information we have from the trips table. It's maybe a little bit hard to think about because the trips table is way bigger than the stations info table. Station info has just some, I don't know, 100 stations or whatever, and the trips has a lot of rows, as you saw. But yes, at the end, for BigQuery, not a big issue. It just shows you for the right join all the stations info and all the trips which have a corresponding station, start station in our case, or end station, however you want to join based on the key. But that's the whole thing behind. So inner join just shows entries where the join is successful, so where you find trips and the corresponding stations, or stations and the corresponding trips. Left join, where you always have all the trips information attached from the left table, from the from table, and if you find the stations info entry for that one, take it. Full join, trips and stations, every entry shown at least once, and right join just show the stations entry once at least, and all the corresponding trips. Okay, let's go into the examples and let's switch to the SQL editor. So now we are just taking again the left join. I will just show it again. So as I said, so all the rows from bike share trips is there, also super fast because it's cached in the background. So we have all the station names. What could be now the case is when you're doing on start order by, and now it should be the case. Let's see. So now the case is that we have here certain start station IDs. Yeah. So this means we have here start station IDs, 82, 67, 69, 65, a lot. And all these station IDs do not have its start station name 1, no latitude and no longitude, which means it still shows the entry from the bike share trips table, but it does not show us any information from the bike share station info because in the bike share station info table, there is no station name with the ID 82 due to whatever reason. We do not know. But that's the thing how you can check it. When we are now doing a join, just quickly do it. Let's run it again. So now the first entries are here 300, for example. And you see here immediately start station name 1, start station latitude, longitude, which means there is no row which has for start station name 1, latitude or longitude, does not have a null. For sure it could be if the bike share station info has the corresponding bike share, so station info, so the station ID, that one here. But in the table itself, the s.name or the latitude or longitude is null, then for sure it could be that here's a null. But it's not the case in this case. So due to that, we do not see any nulls. A little bit more complex. So yes, and what you could also check is the full join. Okay, so now the query was successful, and we see here again that we have start station name 1, or I also saw now that we have station latitude, should be start station latitude for sure, but we can keep it like that these are null here. And we also see there are some more rows. How we can check that? We can say, okay, please order by, we can also do it here. I'm not sure if you know that already, but you don't need to change the order by always when you just want to have the table data in different order. You can now just change it here. So you can say sort ascending by trips, which is exactly the case or the same as I would do trip ID. Would be the same. So now it's just gray and we need to wait until it's done. So here we have now entries from a bike share trips table where I can tell you this is not the case in the bike share trips table that we have trips with no ID or everything is null as you see. But we have at the end, we have here start station names, which means we have entries in the bike share station info, but there was never a trip starting from there. If there would be from these stations, so we have here, oh, we have already quite a lot. We have over 50 stations here where never a trip started at the end. This is something you see here quite easily. Yeah. So if there would be just one trip from these start station names, they would not show a null here and the sorting would not show it. Okay. And now I would like to switch to another example. As you know, we always do it for the bike share trips or bike share information and for the order information we have. So I will just quickly switch to our order data. So here, for example, I'm just taking some columns from the order item table, order ID, SKU, seller channel, order date, custom email, as you know already. And now I would like to join another table. What I would like to join is, I do already a left join, because the left join is as well the most important join you're doing, at least in the in data warehousing, because you do not want to, you have always one table or usually where you are aligned to and just adding data from other columns or tables. And due to that, mostly you want to have the left join because you want to keep your data, for example, on order item level, but you know they are from other tables, there are other columns you need to have based on certain keys, one or multiple keys, but you do not want to lose any ordered item data in your data. To do that, you're always doing a left join. What I want to do now is, for example, is a customer. So we have a customer table. In this customer table, there are some columns attached or some columns inside which we want to add to our order item table as customer, for example, or as O and C. So now for sure we need to do an on, and now we need to do order item dot customer email equals customer dot customer email. And here you need to be super careful. Why? Joining via a customer email is something you should at least check if there are other ways for it. Why? Because let's imagine you are a customer from a shop and you are doing 3 different orders, and doing the second and the third order, you're changing the email which is inside the system. So what's happening is, for the first 2 entries with your orders, the customer email is still the old one, and for the next one, it shows another email. And now it could be that in a customer table, it just overrides the email you had before and just taking the new one, which means then in this case, the customer email would be not shown anymore in the customer table. And in the order item table, we have for the first and the second order, where you still did the purchase with your old customer email, would not show any customer information anymore, except of the one you have in the order item table for sure, depending on from where the data is coming from. But it's never recommended to use strings, mostly strings as join operators. It's always better to use, or join keys, sorry. It's always better to use IDs, for example, or integers as join operators, because it could be that, for example, in the customer email, depending on if they're coming from 2 different systems, there's a typo inside. One is it's ignoring if it's upper or lower case and so on. You can do a lot of stuff with that when you're seeing the join is not working properly. You can also fix it or try to fix it in BigQuery itself. But if the raw data is too much broken, you have no chance anymore, and then it's gone. So due to that, the best would be to have a customer ID in the order item data, which for sure would also solve the issue I explained as first problem. And then just joining via the custom ID. That would be the best one. We do not have a custom ID, so we're taking the customer email. Now it says column name customer email is ambiguous. And this is exactly what I told already some minutes ago, where I said that we have troubles if in originally both tables, so in order item and in customer table, the same column is there basically. And that's exactly the case here, because I'm joining via the custom email, and the customer email is in order item and is in the customer table, which means I need to say, okay, from which column or table I want to have the data. And I want to have that from order item dot customer email. But for sure, you can also say customer dot customer email. And if that is happening, you have the same thing as before. The second customer email, so that one, would be shown as customer email 1_1. Not a big problem, whatever. Let's go. With that approach, you see super easily which joins are working and which not. Because here you see already, for example, what I ordered already, okay. So here we see already a lot of customer emails, which looks like that these are not in the customer table due to whatever reason. That's, for example, one thing you already see. Okay, so how we can quickly check that, or just assuring that there's some data, we can do order by 6 descending. 6 is the customer of the customer email from the customer table. And now we can say customer dot customer ID, for example. Would be better if we have that already in the order item table. And customer.class. You don't need to do customer dot if the same column is not in, so the same named column is not in both tables. Let's see if that works. Works. Let's go. So now we just say, okay, please take some data from the order item table. Please say take some columns from the customer table. Join them together via the customer email, and let's see where we are. So here we have this customer, for example, is in both tables available. This is the customer ID and this is the customer class, for example. I need for certain analysis, if I want to know, okay, due to different rules, I know which customers for me are B, C, or A customers. And here I see immediately, okay, from which customer class the orders are coming from. Yes, so here we have some B, some C customers, and we will also have some A customers. And for sure, also some customers who do not have a class due to a missing entry in the customer table. Now you have an overview of the join functionalities in SQL. It is a super complex topic and you need to try it on your own to get a better understanding of how the connection of two tables is working. So the key takeaways are, with joins you can put two tables together and the result is one table again. Second, you need join keys to put these tables together. There are different kinds of joins like inner join, left join and outer join. For more information you can take a look at our Medium blog posts, our LinkedIn posts and to our website to watch the other videos. Look in the description below for all the important informations and links. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel and I see you in the next video.